Every job I applied to rejected me. Not because I wasn't qualified, but because of a lie. My parents told them I had a criminal record. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. That was the email I expected. But this time, it was different. The hiring manager called me directly. I don't usually do this, she said carefully, but I feel like you deserve to know. My heart started pounding. Know what? There was a pause. We received a call about you, she continued. Someone claiming to be a family member. They said you have a criminal record. The world around me went quiet. A criminal record? I repeated, that's not true. I didn't think so, she said. But the way they spoke, it sounded convincing. They said employers should be careful. My hands started shaking. Did they say who they were? I asked. They didn't give a name, she replied, but they knew details about you. Personal things. Enough to make it believable. Family. It had to be. I thanked her, ended the call, and just sat there, staring at nothing. Everything suddenly made sense. The sudden rejections. The cold responses. The way opportunities vanished overnight. This wasn't bad luck. This was sabotage. And there were only two people who had that kind of access to my life. My parents. That evening, I went home, my chest tight with a mix of anger and disbelief. They were sitting in the living room like always, calm, relaxed, like they hadn't just been destroying my future behind my back. I didn't sit. I didn't hesitate. Have you been calling my jobs? I asked. They exchanged a glance. That was all the answer I needed. My dad sighed like I was the problem. We were trying to protect people. From what? I snapped. From you, he said coldly. I felt something inside me break. I don't have a criminal record, I said, my voice shaking. That's not what we told them, my mom replied. We just warned them you've had issues. Issues. I repeated. You told them I'm a criminal. You're overreacting, she said dismissively. Overreacting. After everything they'd done, you've ruined every chance I had. I said, every job, every opportunity, gone because of you. My dad leaned forward, his voice low and firm. You're not ready to be out there on your own. There it was. Not concern. Control. They didn't want me to succeed. They wanted me dependent. Stuck. Trapped. I stood there, realizing something that changed everything. If I stayed, this would never stop. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. That was the email I expected, but this time it didn't come. Instead, my phone rang. Hi, the hiring manager said, her voice careful. I don't usually do this, but I feel like you deserve to know what happened. My heart started racing. What do you mean? There was a pause. We received a call about you, she continued. Someone claiming to be a family member. My grip tightened on the phone. What did they say? They said you have a criminal record, she replied quietly. They warned us to be careful, said hiring you would be a risk. The room went silent around me. A criminal record. I whispered, that's not true. I've never even. I know, she interrupted gently. Honestly, it didn't sound right. But they had personal details, your past jobs, where you lived, even things from your application. It sounded real. Real. That's what made it dangerous. Did they give a name? I asked. No, she said, but it was clear they knew you well. Family. It had to be. After I hung up, everything started connecting. The interviews that went perfectly, then suddenly collapsed. The awkward behavior from managers right before rejection. The pattern that didn't make sense. Until now, this wasn't bad luck. This was planned. That night, I went home with a storm inside me. My parents were in the living room like always, watching TV, completely at ease. Like they hadn't just been destroying my life one phone call at a time. Have you been calling my employers? I asked, my voice sharp. They looked at each other. That silence said everything. My dad exhaled slowly. We were trying to protect people. Protect people? I repeated. By lying about me? You're not ready to be on your own, my mom said calmly. So you tell people I'm a criminal? We didn't say it like that, she replied. That's exactly what you said. I snapped. My dad's expression hardened. Lower your voice. No, I said, my hands shaking. You don't get to control this conversation. Not after what you've done. For a moment, no one spoke. Then my mom crossed her arms. You're being dramatic. Dramatic. After they'd sabotaged every opportunity one had. You've ruined my future, I said, my voice breaking despite my effort to stay strong. Every job I've tried to build, every step forward, you destroyed it. My dad leaned forward slightly, his tone cold and final. We did what was necessary. That was it. No guilt, no apology, just control. In that moment, something inside me shifted completely. This wasn't about misunderstanding anymore. This was intentional, calculated, and if I stayed, they would keep doing it. Forever. That night, I didn't argue anymore. There was nothing left to say. I went to my room, packed a bag, and left before morning. No goodbye, no explanation, because I already knew the truth. They would never stop. But I would. The next day, I did something I should have done a long time ago. I fought back. I requested a full background check on myself. Official, documented, clean. Then I gathered everything, rejection emails, call logs, even a written statement from the hiring manager who warned me. Proof, not just of my innocence, but of their lies. With that, I went to a lawyer. At first, my voice shook as I explained everything. But as I kept talking, something changed. I wasn't scared anymore. I was done being controlled. Within days, legal notices were sent. Cease and desist, defamation, interference with employment, words I had never imagined using against my own parents. But they had crossed every line. When they received the notice, my phone exploded with calls. Angry, demanding, panicked. How could you do this to us? My dad shouted in one voicemail. I didn't respond, because for the first time, they weren't the ones in control anymore. A week later, something finally happened that hadn't in months. I got a call from a company I had applied to earlier. We've reviewed your documents, the manager said, and we'd like to offer you the position. I closed my eyes, holding back emotion, not because I got the job, but because this time, no one could take it away from me. On my first day at the new job, I sat in my car for a moment before going in. Not because I was nervous, but because I was finally at peace. For so long, I had been fighting a battle I didn't even understand. Doors kept closing, opportunities kept disappearing, and I kept blaming myself. But it was never me. And now, with the truth in my hands and my future finally my own, something inside me felt steady, stronger than before. I didn't need their approval anymore. I didn't need their control. And I definitely didn't need their lies. What I needed, I had already found. My voice, my strength, my freedom. As I stepped out of the car and walked toward the building, I didn't look back, because the life they tried to take from me was finally mine again. Your one click can keep these stories alive. Subscribe, because every voice deserves to be heard.